Alright, what's going on, guys? Dr. Stone, episode 9, Let There Be the Light of Science. Let's do it! Alright, so this episode we continue where we left off. Senku made the foxtail ramen, and now he's going to share it with the various townsfolk. He gives them the foxtail ramen, and in exchange for the service that he's providing to the town, he enlists many of the members to help out with the generator. There's a new member that's not part of the town, Gen Asagiri. Senku finds out that he's actually working with Shishio, and he's going to report whether or not that Senku is alive or dead. Now, if he goes to Shishio and tells Shishio that Senku is alive, Shishio will come there and kill him. But if he finds out that he's dead, he'll do nothing, and he'll basically establish his dominating authoritarian society where he takes care of people at the top, but subjugates people at the bottom. But, you know, he's kind of working for Shishio, but not really. He's kind of on the fence. So his mindset is, hey, if I just let Senku build his weapons of science, and I allow Shishio to build his weapons of strength and power, they'll be pretty equal, and maybe they'll take each other out, and then I can be the ruler of the stone world. So he kind of has the mindset that maybe he's gonna win this little game that they've created for themselves. So he's like, hey, you know what, I'll just go back to Shishio and I'll say that Senku's dead, and we'll play this little cat and mouse game for the future. You know, it'd probably provide a little entertainment for anyone who's viewing from the sidelines. So Kohak obviously isn't a big fan of this, so she decides, hey, I'll just kill you. But Senku is wise enough to determine that, hey, if we kill him and he doesn't come back to report to Shishio, then Shishio is going to go out looking for him, and he might kill Senku in the process. So he's like, no, let's let Gen go back to Shishio and report that I'm actually dead. That way we can continue our plans unabated and hopefully build enough weapons of science where we could prevent Shishio from causing any harm to us. So that's what they do, and in the process, Senku puts Gen to work because he had some of the foxtail ramen. He's like, hey, you gotta work for me now. You're my slave. Start blowing some air into that furnace for me so we can make that iron rod. And that's what they do. Now, when they make the iron rod, it's kind of comical because it says iron rod attained or acquired, which is kind of like a video game. You know, if you ever played like Pokemon on the Game Boy back in the day, catch like a little Squirtle or something, they'd be like, Squirtle acquired. You know? So this is further proof that Dr. Stone is in fact an isekai and not really an action adventure. And Gen even mentions that if he goes back to Shishio and he lives with him, you know, he'll get a bunch of bitches and he'll have his own harem. So he's like, yeah, you know, I could have science on my side here, but I gotta work my ass off. I'd rather just kick it with a bunch of ladies and take it easy for the rest of my days. You know, if there was a checklist for isekai, you know, Dr. Stone is literally hitting every single mark. So then we move forward, they make the iron rod, they attain it, and Senku decides that he wants to make a generator. But to do so, he's going to need some magnets. So what they do is they take the iron rod, they put some lacquer on it, and then a thunderstorm comes, and they put the iron rod into the ground, and they get the electricity. You know, they use the golden spear that Senku made in an earlier episode, and they're able to generate the lightning bolt hits it, and then they create the magnets, and now Senku can finally make his generator. And they got the copper as well, so yeah, they make the generator, and in the process, then they make light. They pull a Thomas Edison. They make a little light bulb. It's a little ridiculous when they make the light bulb because they show a full view of the Earth, and then they show this big shining light. Like the little light bulb that they're making in a Stone Age can like shine out into space and you can see it. You know, if you were in like a space station, you could see this little light. But I guess it was just used for effect to show, hey, you know, the world is dark and now it's light because of science and Senku. And that's basically the end of the episode. They've created the generator, so that's like one step in the process of making the antibiotic, and I guess they're going to move to the next step going forward. General thoughts of this episode, I thought the jokes were pretty much the same as the previous episodes. Pretty banal, pretty childish, juvenile. They had a joke with Gen. He's apparently a mentalist, mind freak like Chris Angel, and he had flowers and he was offering it to the men who were trying to impede upon Senku's experiments, and he pulled a little sleight of hand and he tricked them. It wasn't that funny, and I don't know if I have anything really positive to say about this episode. I will say I didn't hate this episode. It was engaging. I found myself actually more interested than the previous episodes, maybe because, how they had that dramatic effect at the end when the light bulb went on, and they had the very nice music that complemented the scene. So I guess I wouldn't say I hated this episode. It's probably better than some of the rest, but definitely wouldn't say I liked it. I guess that's an improvement. So I say we'll take it for this week, but I don't really expect much to change in the following weeks. I still think it's a very bad show with not a lot of prospects or not a lot of good attributes going for it. But anyway, that's all I really got to say on this episode. Catch you on the flip side.